Once upon a time, these trucks were just hard-working machines. Today, they're million-dollar treasures. From rare limited editions to legendary models, collectors would fight to get their hands on. These vintage trucks didn't just age well, they turned into rolling gold. Some were overlooked for decades, some were built in tiny numbers, and some became icons without anyone realizing it. Get ready for the 10 vintage trucks that are now worth millions, because sometimes the most valuable machines are the ones nobody expected. Number 1. Peterbilt 281 Needle-Nose, 1954. The Peterbilt 281, better known as the Needle-Nose, is one of the most iconic vintage semi-trucks in American history. Introduced in 1954, this truck represents the era when craftsmanship, metalwork, and engineering were done almost entirely by hand. The narrow needle-shaped hood gave the truck its famous nickname and made it instantly recognizable on American highways. Before the age of computers and aerodynamics, trucks like the 281 relied on pure mechanical precision and rugged build quality. Everything was steel, chrome, and diesel. The truck's fame skyrocketed when it appeared as the villainous machine in Steven Spielberg's 1971 thriller Duel. In the film, the mysterious, menacing Peterbilt 281 practically became a character itself. That movie immortalized the Needle-Nose, transforming it from a classic truck into a cultural icon. After Duel, collectors worldwide began hunting for surviving models, and this demand pushed prices into the stratosphere. Mechanically, the 281 carried engines like the Cummins NH series or early Detroit diesels, which delivered raw, unrefined power. These engines were loud, smoky, and full of attitude, exactly what early trucking was all about. The truck was popular among long-haul drivers for its strong pulling strength and its long nose stability, especially on rough mountain routes where balancing weight mattered. But what makes the 281 worth millions today isn't just its power, it's its rarity. Very few original 281s survived the decades. Most were used hard, modified heavily, or scrapped entirely. Finding one with intact body panels, original frames, and factory-spec components is incredibly difficult. That scarcity, combined with its Hollywood legacy, pushes restored Peterbilt 281s into the $500,000 bullion at private auctions. To collectors, the 281 isn't just an old truck, it's a masterpiece of vintage American engineering, a cinematic legend, and a relic of a bygone diesel era that will never return. Number 2. Kenworth W900A. The Kenworth W900A is a dream machine for collectors, a shining symbol of classic American trucking, and one of the most valuable vintage semi-trucks in existence. Introduced in 1967, the W900A came at a time when long-hood trucks were becoming the aesthetic and performance standard in the trucking world. Its clean lines, bold grille, and unmistakable stance made it an instant classic. During the 70s and 80s, the W900A became the truck of choice for serious owner-operators, drivers who treated their rigs like personal works of art. Many of these trucks were customized with extended hoods, polished steel, dual stacks, huge chrome bumpers, and elaborate paint jobs. The W900A became the star of truck shows long before the modern show truck culture existed. Its large hood wasn't just for beauty, it was necessary to house the massive engines of the time, including the Cummins NTC 350 and the Detroit Diesel 8V71, both known for incredible torque and dependability. These trucks were built to run millions of miles, and many did. But that's also why original W900A models, in good condition, are so rare today. Trucks from this era were worked hard, rebuilt several times, modified, or scrapped entirely. Only a few remain in original or restorable shape, and those are now priceless. Restored W900A models frequently sell for $300,000, and highly customized or celebrity-owned builds can surpass $1 million. The W900A is more than just a truck. It represents the golden age of American big rigs. Its long hood, chrome-heavy design, and old-school driving feel cannot be recreated by modern trucks. To collectors, the W900A embodies diesel culture at its peak. Loud engines, big stacks, long nights, and endless highways. It's a timeless icon worth every penny of its million-dollar value. Number 3. Mack RS700L, 1970s. The Mack RS700L is a true beast of vintage trucking. A long-nose American powerhouse that became legendary in the 1970s remains highly sought after today. This model was built when Mack Trucks was at the height of its dominance, producing machines known for durability, power, and brute force. The RS700L stood out with its massive hood, rugged construction, and unmistakable Mack styling that carried the fierce bulldog emblem proudly. Under that long hood could be found some of the most powerful engines of the era, especially the Mack E9 V8, an engine renowned for its monstrous torque and unmistakable sound. The E9 produced a raw mechanical growl that became a badge of honor among heavy-haul drivers. With this engine, the RS700L could pull weight with ease, climb steep grades confidently, and survive punishing industrial environments where other trucks failed. The RS700L became especially popular in logging, mining, and long-distance heavy-haul transport. Operators trusted it not just for strength, but for its reliability. The RS700L's chassis was built thick and strong, capable of handling long-term abuse. This toughness, however, was a double-edged sword. Because the trucks were used so heavily, very few survived into the modern era without significant wear or damage. That scarcity has turned the RS700L into a top-tier collectible. Fully restored RS700L trucks, especially those with period-correct V8 engines, often sell for $250,000, and ultra-rare or show-built models can exceed $1 million. Collectors value them not only for their rarity, but because the RS700L represents a time when trucks were pure mechanical monsters. No electronics, no filters, just raw power. The Mack RS700L is a living symbol of 1970s trucking culture, and its value continues to rise every year. Number 4. International Transtar II CO4070. The International Transtar II CO4070 is one of the greatest American cabover trucks ever built. A legend of the 1970s and early 80s, this truck became the face of the COE era, a time when overall truck lengths were limited, forcing manufacturers to place the cab directly over the engine to maximize trailer capacity. Among all COEs, the Transtar II became the king. The model was famous for its tall, square design, enormous windshield, and steep front access steps. It wasn't aerodynamic, but it looked tough, commanding, and purposeful. Inside that boxy shell, the Transtar II housed engines like the Detroit Diesel 8V71, the Cummins NTC 290, and later higher output engines that allowed it to dominate long-haul routes. The Detroit 8V71, in particular, gave the Transtar its signature two-stroke scream that echoed across America's highways. Because cabovers were used in demanding freight operations, nearly all Transtar IIs were worked relentlessly. Hundreds of thousands of miles, engine rebuilds, corrosion, and frame fatigue took their toll. Today, surviving units in restorable condition are incredibly rare. This rarity has transformed them into highly valuable vintage collectibles. Fully restored Transtar II models, especially those rebuilt to show quality, can fetch prices between $150,000, and rare configurations like refrigerated units or long wheelbase sleepers command even more. For collectors, the Transtar II represents a lost era of trucking, a time of tight schedules, roaring Detroit engines, and cabovers dominating the American landscape. It's one of the few vintage semi-trucks that instantly transports people back to the 19th. Its rarity, historical importance, and unmistakable silhouette have made it a million-dollar icon in the world of classic trucking. Number 5. Volvo F88, 1965 to 1970s. The Volvo F88 is perhaps the most historically significant European semi-truck ever manufactured. Introduced in the mid-1960s, it quickly became the backbone of long-haul transport across Europe, the Middle East, and parts of Asia through the 1970s. The F88 represented a huge leap in Volvo engineering. It brought reliability, safety, and long-distance endurance to an entirely new level. The truck featured Volvo's robust, fuel-efficient inline-six diesel engine, which delivered excellent torque and smooth performance. Unlike many trucks of the period, the F88 was designed with driver comfort as a priority. It offered improved cab ergonomics, better visibility, and a sleeper layout that was far more practical than its contemporaries. This level of comfort was revolutionary at the time, and drivers quickly fell in love with the F88 because it made long European hauls significantly easier. But what made the F88 truly legendary was its durability. These trucks went everywhere, up mountains, through deserts, across borders, and through harsh northern winters. Many F88s accumulated over 1 million miles and kept running. They were especially famous on the Scandinavian Middle East routes, hauling goods from Sweden all the way to countries like Iran and Saudi Arabia. Because these trucks were heavily used for decades, finding an F88 today in good condition is extremely rare. Most will work to the very end of their mechanical life. This rarity has made the F88 highly valuable. Restored examples frequently sell for $200,000, and historically significant units, such as original Middle East haulers, can exceed $1 million in private collections. The Volvo F88 is more than a truck. It is a symbol of Europe's industrial rise, a survivor of extreme terrains, and one of the most valuable vintage semis on the planet today. Number 6. Scania LB76, 1960s. The Scania LB76 is one of the most cherished vintage European semi-trucks ever built. Introduced in the early 1960s, the LB76 was an engineering marvel of its time, blending classic Swedish durability with reliable mechanical performance. What makes this truck a high-value collectible today is the combination of rarity, unmistakable styling, and the role it played in transforming European long-haul transport. The LB76 was one of Scania's first truly modern forward-control trucks, offering excellent visibility and maneuverability for European roads that were narrower and more challenging than American highways. Its cab-over-engine layout made it efficient for tight urban areas as well as long-distance runs. Despite its compact size, the LB76 housed powerful inline-six diesel engines that delivered exceptional torque and smooth driving characteristics for the era. These engines were famous for reliability. Truckers could depend on them through harsh Scandinavian winters and unforgiving mountain terrain. The LB76 gained immense popularity in Europe, South America, and parts of Asia, where it was used for heavy haul operations, container transport, and cross-border logistics. Many LB76 units traveled hundreds of thousands of miles, hauling timber, machinery, and cargo across rugged landscapes. Because these trucks were so heavily used and rarely preserved, finding an original LB76 today is incredibly uncommon. Collectors value the LB76 for its elegance as much as its performance. Its simple, rounded cab shape, large windshield, and classic Scania grille give it a timeless vintage look. Restored LB76s showcase the beauty of early European truck engineering, with their clean lines, polished metal accents, and nostalgic interiors featuring early Scania instrument clusters and wooden dashboard elements. A fully restored Scania LB76 can sell for $300,000 to over $1 million depending on originality and historical significance. Rare long-haul versions with documented routes, especially Scandinavian to Middle East haulers, fetch the highest prices. Today, the LB76 stands as a symbol of Scania's early dominance, representing the birth of the legendary European heavy-haul culture. It's not just a truck, it's a rolling piece of Swedish engineering history. Number 7. Kenworth 523, Bullnose, 1950s. The Kenworth 523 Bullnose is one of the rarest and most visually distinctive vintage semi-trucks in the world. Produced in the 1950s, the 523 earned its nickname from its rounded, protruding front-end design that resembled the nose of a bull. At the time, this design was revolutionary. Kenworth was experimenting with weight distribution, improved air intake placement, and more compact cab packaging. The result was a truck that looked unlike anything before or after it. The Bullnose wasn't just unusual in appearance, it was also mechanically advanced for its time. Powered by early diesel engines like the Cummins NH series, the 523 offered reliable torque and strong pulling capability, making it ideal for long-haul work in an era when many trucks still used gasoline engines. The truck's narrow design and cab-over layout let operators maximize trailer length, which was crucial when strict length laws limited total vehicle size. Despite its uniqueness, the Bullnose was not produced in large numbers. Kenworth was still a relatively small company during the 1950s, and each truck was essentially hand-built. This limited production number is one of the biggest reasons why surviving Bullnose models are so rare today. Most were driven until the very end of their working life, suffering rust, structural fatigue, and mechanical wear that spelled doom for many units. Collectors today treat the Bullnose as a priceless artifact. Restoration is extremely challenging because original parts are nearly impossible to find. Many restorers must fabricate components by hand, which increases both cost and the truck's final value. A pristine, fully restored Kenworth 523 Bullnose can easily be worth $400,000 to over $1 million, especially if it retains original chassis components and engine configurations. For enthusiasts, the Bullnose represents a time when American trucking was still young, experimental, and full of character. It's a piece of history that grows rarer and more valuable every year. Number 8. Mack B61, 1953. Few vintage semi-trucks have achieved legendary status like the Mack B61. Introduced in 1953, the B61 became the symbol of American strength, durability, and industrial growth. With its unforgettable rounded fenders, bulldog hood ornament, and muscular stance, the B61 became one of the most recognizable trucks on the road during the 1990s. Today, it is one of the most valuable vintage semi-trucks ever made, commanding 6- and 7-figure prices among collectors. The B61 featured Mack's brilliant ENED 673 diesel engine, known for its bulletproof reliability and surprising efficiency. This engine wasn't about horsepower, it was about raw torque and endurance. It's no exaggeration to say the B61 could run almost forever with minimal maintenance. Many units clocked over 1 million miles with only routine servicing, making the B61 a favorite for industries that demanded absolute dependability, such as construction, long-haul freight, and agricultural transport. The durability of the B61 was matched by its simplicity. The mechanical components were easy to repair, and the truck had no unnecessary electronics or fragile systems. This simplicity is one reason so many B61s survived long after other trucks from the same era disappeared. Even today, many remain functional on private farms and in small logging operations. Collectors love the B61 not only for its engineering but for its emotional and historical value. The B61 represents the American post-war boom, the era of building cities, highways, and infrastructure. Owning one is like owning a piece of American industrial history. Restored B61 trucks, especially those with original Mack engines, authentic paint schemes, and factory-correct parts, can fetch $250,000 Show-quality restorations with chrome accents, custom paint, and rebuilt interiors often reach higher values. The Mack B61 isn't just valuable, it's a symbol of timeless American trucking heritage. Number 9. Diamond T921. The Diamond T921 is one of the most beautiful and sophisticated vintage semi-trucks ever produced. Diamond T was often referred to as the Cadillac of trucks, and the 921 proved exactly why. Built during the 1950s, this truck combined unmatched craftsmanship, jaw-dropping design, and solid engineering into one of the most collectible semi-trucks of all time. The 921 featured elegant curved fenders, perfectly shaped hood lines, deep chrome accents, and a grille design that looked like it belonged on a luxury car rather than a commercial vehicle. Diamond T prioritized style and fit and finish in a way no other truck manufacturer did at the time. That's what makes the 921 so valuable today. It wasn't just a truck, it was a work of art. Under the hood, the Diamond T921 came with powerful gasoline engines and early diesel options. These engines delivered strong output for mid-century hauling, making the truck a popular choice for regional freight and industrial transport. But what truly set the 921 apart was its limited production. Diamond T never mass-produced their trucks like other brands, meaning only a small number of 921s were ever built. Because so few were made and even fewer survived, restoring a Diamond T921 is extremely difficult and costly. Collectors often spend years sourcing original parts or fabricating replacements by hand. This high restoration cost is one of the reasons why perfectly restored models are now valued so highly. At auctions and private sales, a pristine Diamond T91 can command $300,000 to more than $1 million, depending on originality and condition. Specialty restorations with custom interiors and rare configurations can drive the price even higher. The Diamond T921 is considered by many collectors to be the most beautiful semi-truck ever built, and its value reflects that status. Number 10. Freightliner WFT Bullnose, 1940s to 50s. The Freightliner WFT, better known as the Bullnose, is among the earliest and rarest American cab-over semi-trucks. Built in the late 1940s and early 50s, this truck marked a breakthrough in lightweight construction and cab-over design. While most trucks of its era were heavy, slow, and boxy, Freightliner engineered the WFT with aluminum construction, drastically reducing its weight and improving fuel economy. This lightweight design was decades ahead of its time. The distinctive rounded front end, the Bullnose, was not just stylish but functional. It maximized interior cab space and improved aerodynamics long before aerodynamic trucking became mainstream. The truck ran early Detroit diesel two-stroke engines, giving it a unique sound and impressive torque for its size. These engines made the WFT popular among logging companies and long-haul operators on the West Coast, where steep mountains demanded efficient power. Because the WFT was built in limited numbers and saw extreme use in harsh conditions, surviving examples are incredibly rare. Many were scrapped once they reached the end of their service life, while others simply rusted away in logging yards. Finding a complete Bullnose today is nearly impossible, and restoration is extremely expensive due to the difficulty of sourcing original aluminum panels. The rarity and historical significance of the WFT Bullnose have pushed its value into elite collectible territory. Restored models can sell for $500,000 to over $1 million, especially when restored with authentic Detroit diesel engines and period-correct detailing. Museums, collectors, and truck historians consider the Bullnose one of the most important early American semi-trucks ever produced. It marks the birth of the Freightliner brand, the rise of cab-over efficiency, and the foundation of modern truck engineering. Its value reflects its irreplaceable place in trucking history. These vintage trucks aren't just vehicles anymore. They're investments, art pieces, and priceless symbols of a forgotten era. Which one surprised you the most with its value? Tell me in the comments. If you love rare classics, hidden gems, and machines turning into million-dollar legends, make sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss another collector countdown. Thanks for watching. And remember, today's old truck might be tomorrow's million-dollar masterpiece.